Thank you so much. And that is the team that you're made of. Asanteni sana.
Thank you, Secretary General Shege. I'll read our press statement today. It's called Call to Action. Good afternoon, everyone. Dear Kenyans, as we start this press conference, it cannot be lost on us the weight of the global COVID-19 crisis. Our heart goes to those who have lost loved ones in these terrible times, those whose families have been shattered by the negative economic consequences of the pandemic, and to our gallant frontline health workers, risking it all to keep us safe. We owe you everything. We can't thank you enough. We salute you. It's with great pride and humility today to come before you and tell our story. A story of resilience, tenacity, patience, and utmost patriotism. 2 years ago, a group of youths in a dusty estate in Nairobi were chatting, as we mostly do, about politics and its state in our norm in the country. We were arguing so bitterly yet so hopeful on the state of our politics that is so disheartening, polarizing, and divisive. Something needed to be done. We would piga gumzo mtaani in quotes, as many often do. As days went by into months, and it became clearer that there was no avenue for youth in our politics. Our voices were muzzled, shut out from the existing political parties, no inspirational youth leaders in politics, and other spheres of our society. We snapped. We acknowledged empty mtaani talk and bitter discussion won't change our status. Something needed to be done immediately. We formed a committee, and I was tasked with leading the action group. We brainstormed over days as we tried to figure out the best way to be more impactful in our political systems. We mobilized youths from all over the country and started meetings for constitutional drafting and other structural setups. Like many youth groups, we thought of starting a movement, but rather felt it would not be impactful enough. So we decided to use the existing political infrastructure from which we can organize, mobilize fellow youths to action. That's how Democratic Renaissance Alliance was formed. It was formed by passionate, like-minded youths who felt that we needed to be the change that we seek. We needed to awaken from the paralysis of inaction, rise from the depths of despair, and join politics to provide the moral, compassionate leadership we strongly felt is lacking and desperately needed. The journey to get where we are now has been so long, and where we are heading is still far. We are yet to fulfill all that we need to get done, and we believe in the need for collective ownership of this cause by Kenyans and youth in particular. It is in this spirit that we introduced the first political party that is 100% led by young, visionary men and women under the age of 35. This is not an attempt to be an ageist group, but a deliberate call to infuse, inspire, motivate, and rally youths across the country that we can lead. We are capable, competent enough to provide an alternative vision and leadership. Our party mission: to champion democratic ideals anchored in economic emancipation and people-focused politics centered on the principles of patriotism, humanity, and social justice. Our party vision: to establish a democratic, nationalist, transformative, prosperous society where economic inclusivity, constitutionalism, and peaceful social coexistence are tenets of our governance. Our party values: the Democratic Renaissance Alliance core values include, but not limited to, nationalism and patriotism, economic prosperity, constitutionalism and the rule of law, freedom, social justice, inclusivity, humanity, unity, diversity, equality, and fairness. Environmental sustainability, and love and tolerance. The Democratic Renaissance Alliance Party is a political organization which will champion for a democratic rebirth. As a party, we are for politics that solve problems, not politics that exploit them. Politics that build communities rather than dividing them. We firmly believe we need a pernicious understanding in the spirit and in practice of democracy's meaning, a government of, by, and for the people. We are here today at a pivotal moment in our democracy, when every one of us needs to determine just who it is that we are and what it is that we stand for. Find our civic responsibility to guard, to protect our democratic gains. There is a dagger at the heart of our democracy. Do we let it kill us, or we nurse it back to perfect health? The Kenyan democracy is in crisis. As we witnessed in horror and dismay, the creeping shameless authoritarianism, vestiges of tyranny, and misuse of state powers employed viciously to assault and dismantle our democratic guardrails. It is our firm belief that a political system that is conducive to peaceful, sustainable development, the rule of law, respect for human rights, are the three pillars of any healthy and prosperous society. In any democratic state, a healthy relationship between the three arms of governance, that is the legislature, the judiciary, and the executive, are essential for quality service delivery in a civilized world. Separation of power is a fundamental principle of good governance. Checks and balances provide efficient service delivery, and what is witnessed on the attack of the judiciary in the most insidious and appalling manner is an absence of rule of law, which leads to anarchy, chaos, and destruction. We condemn this particular act in the strongest terms possible. The principle of justice is never to condemn without redemption, but to act as a guardian for equality of law. Law and order are the hallmarks of civilized world that keeps lawlessness, chaos, and tyranny at bay. Recently, we've witnessed with amusement when the very people who were celebrating the egregious abuse of power being at the receiving end of it, and how now an epiphany to fight justice just because it serves them. A shameful act. The fight for justice should never be at the altar of selfish convenience, but must rather be upheld steadfast and consistently because it's the right thing to do. We are living in strange, shameful times